Tom Cotton, a member of the Armed Services Committee and an Army veteran. Thank you, sir, for being here as we continue to watch the president exit there. There were some awkward applauses at the beginning of the speech as well, loud and mighty, to the point where I remember the Secretary of State almost had to say, okay. We're told that there was a selected number of press in the room. It was invitation only, and possibly officials from the State Department were told. But on Afghanistan, Senator, he said, I grieve those brave service members whose lives were lost during the withdrawal. He went on to say, I can also report to the American people, I'm the first president in decades who's not leaving a war in Afghanistan to his successor. Just having interviewed so many of the Gold Star families, I wonder what they are thinking today.
Well, Sandra, what they're probably thinking is that Joe Biden's incompetence contributed to the deaths of their loved ones. It's one thing to say that we needed to end the war in Afghanistan, but Joe Biden was so incompetent and reckless in the way he ended it, it resulted in the deaths of those 13 brave Americans. And it also emboldened our adversaries. Vladimir Putin began marshaling his troops on Ukraine's border just a few weeks later. President Biden had the gall to go out and say that America is stronger today than it was 4 years ago. I beg to differ. Uncle Sam has had a kick me sign on his back for the last 4 years because of Joe Biden's weakness. You look around the world, and again, he tempted Vladimir Putin to invade Ukraine, and he's pussyfooted around for 3 years, not providing Ukraine with the weapons they need to win that war. In the Middle East, he tried to take credit for certain actions that Benjamin Netanyahu has taken, when in reality, at every turn, he tried to restrain Israel. The reason why Iran is on the back foot in the Middle East right now is because Benjamin Netanyahu didn't listen to Joe Biden. Our military is in very bad shape. The Secretary of Defense has even admitted recently that the military needs tens of billions of dollars beyond what Joe Biden has provided it. Well, why didn't Joe Biden provide the funding for it? So everywhere you turn, America is weaker today than we were 4 years ago. Even with the so-called hostage deal that he's trying to conclude his presidency on, the only reason that might happen is Donald Trump is threatening Hamas and Iran with hell to pay if they don't release American citizens being held hostage.
Yeah, I mean, good point on Iran. And then to the point there about the hostages, that would be like Jimmy Carter saying, oh, the American hostages are coming home because I demanded it, not because Ronald Reagan demanded it. I want to play what J.D. Vance said about Biden and foreign policy and some other things in an exclusive interview with our Shannon Bream yesterday. Listen here.
President Biden has left us an absolute dumpster fire. Now, we're excited to get to work, but we need to be open and honest about the fact that President Biden has not left the next administration in a good place.
What do you think about that? Is he right?
Well, that's right. I mean, we have an ongoing war in Europe, the largest war since World War II. We have Israel still at war with its adversaries, and Joe Biden hasn't backed them to the hilt as we should, and China continues to menace the United States. So what President Trump needs to do, what I think he will do when he comes to office, is find a responsible way to bring an end to the war in Ukraine that ensures that Russia does not invade Ukraine for a third time in the future, as they have under the last two Democratic presidents. Will back Israel to the hilt so it can finish all the family business in the Middle East, so to speak, and focus on deterring China from trying to replace America as the world's dominant superpower.
Senator, thank you for that. Joey, a final thought from you before we go.
Yeah, I agree mostly with the senator. I'd say that what we need is a president who will get rid of these wars, stop these wars. But what I want and what I hope for is an administration that will put us in a place of security for the future. That's the biggest thing. We have a Marine Corps right now that can't build the capabilities it needs. We have a lot of things going on in our defense that aren't securing our country, and I hope that the next administration does exactly that.
Joey Jones.
Joey Jones, Tom Cotton, Senator, thank you so much.
Senator,
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well.